The film opens in a somber atmosphere. Two innocent sisters, Spider and her younger sibling, stand helplessly weeping before their mother's corpse. The night before, their mother had died from a drug overdose. With their hearts heavy with grief, the sisters quietly pick up their mother's body and hide it inside an old trunk in a nearby shed. Before leaving, the younger sister, crying bitterly, expresses her love for their mother one last time. She takes out her last precious memento, a lobster, and places it alongside their mother's body. As the older sister, Spider is torn between grief and fear. She knows that if anyone discovers their mother's death, the authorities will separate the two of them forever. Unwilling to lose her little sister, Spider makes a decision. They will pretend that their mother is still alive. The next morning, both sisters get ready and leave for school as though nothing has happened. On the way, Spider notices that her younger sister is wearing their mother's locket. Fearful that it could raise suspicion, she tells her to take it off and leave it at home. Even at school, Spider repeatedly reminds her sister not to tell anyone about their mother's death. But later that day, Spider cannot hold the weight of the secret anymore. To ease her heart, she tells her best friend the truth, but makes her swear not to tell anyone. She explains that, more than anything, she just doesn't want to lose her little sister. Her friend, deeply saddened by the revelation, promises to support her and encourages her to stay strong. However, the very next evening, Spider is struck with fear when her younger sister comes home from school, accompanied by her friend and their grandmother. Alarmed, Spider scolds her harshly and warns her never to bring anyone home again. If anyone enters their house, their terrible secret could be exposed. But hiding their mother's death is not their only problem. Their food supplies are slowly running out, and their mother's next government payment is still 6 days away. With no other choice, the sisters decide to eat less and try to survive until then. Just as they settle on this plan, another threat appears. Their mother's friend, Ray, suddenly comes to visit. To keep him from finding out the truth, Spider lies, telling him that their mother left an hour ago with another woman. Ray, however, grows suspicious of her words, though for the moment he leaves, saying, "Make sure to tell me when your mother comes back." Spider's younger sister panics, certain Ray will return. In anger, Spider yells at her, driving the younger girl to sit by their mother's hidden body and cry. Moments later, Spider softens, hugs her, and explains that Ray is nothing but a drug addict. If he feels unwanted, he will simply move on to someone else. Wanting to cheer up her little sister, Spider takes her shopping as soon as they receive money. The two buy plenty of food, enjoy themselves, and eat happily together outside. It's been a long time since they've had such a good meal. But their peace is short-lived. A shop worker suddenly comes out and starts taking pictures of them. Furious, Spider confronts him, trying to delete the photos from his camera. But to her dismay, it isn't digital, so she cannot erase the pictures. Back home, Spider explains to her sister why it is so important to keep up the lie. They are currently receiving $600 every month from the government, $200 per person. That night, the sisters lie awake, talking about their mother and remembering her with both love and sorrow before finally falling asleep. But the next morning, their fear deepens. A phone call arrives for their mother. It's from Child Services. The officer announces that she will be visiting their house to check on them. Both sisters panic. If the truth comes out, they will be separated forever. Frantically, they begin cleaning their mother's room. During this, they discover her old teaching certificate, a painful reminder that before drugs destroy her life, their mother was once a teacher. Thinking quickly, Spider decides on a plan. When the officer arrives, she will say that their mother has gone for a job interview at a bank. But then, her younger sister points out something that could ruin everything. Their mother's car is still parked outside. If the officer notices it, their story will immediately fall apart. In desperation, the two sisters try to find a way to hide the car together, clinging to their secret as the threat of discovery closes in. Spider doesn't even know how to drive. But somehow, in desperation, she manages to start her mother's car and hide it out of sight. The next day, when the officer arrives, the two sisters calmly claim that their mother has gone to a job interview at the bank. Spider tries to act like a responsible daughter in a stable home, The officer inspects the house thoroughly, opening the refrigerator, checking every room, even their mother's bedroom. Finding nothing suspicious, she finally leaves, telling them to have their mother call back when she returns. For now, the sisters breathe a sigh of relief. But Spider knows this is only temporary. The officer will return. The very next day, Spider decides escape is their only option. She goes to the bus station to ask about ticket prices. But the receptionist, noticing she's just 15, warns her not to wander around alone. Convinced, Spider leaves. On her way back, she stops at a store for essentials and unexpectedly runs into the same cameraman who had photographed her and her sister earlier. He shows her the photo he took, explains that he often takes pictures, and invites her to come along sometime. Spider refuses and heads home. Back at home, her younger sister is holding onto their mother's locket, lost in memory. She asks softly, "Why are you always so angry with Mom?" Spider, bitter, replies, "Because she made bad decisions." Later, when her sister finds the shop worker's photograph, she teases Spider, asking if he likes her. Spider admits that he had offered to take her out for photos. Excited, her sister insists she should go with him. The next day, the worker arrives on an old bike to pick her up. Together, they ride into a remote forest. Spider half jokes, "You're not a killer, are you?" The worker only smiles. In the forest, he patiently teaches her how to use the camera. Afterward, he takes her to his dark room to print the photos. There, Spider learns something shocking. One of his clients creates fake certificates. The man used to be a document officer. Before she leaves, the worker drops her off near home and gives her a small digital camera to keep. At home, she and her sister are thrilled. Slowly, they start finding little joys again, supporting each other despite the grief. But happiness doesn't last. One day, while sitting in a cafe, Spider is confronted by Ray. Furious, he demands to know why her mother hasn't spoken to him in weeks. He threatens her if their mother refuses to meet him, she must at least return the $300 she owes by Friday. Horrified, the sisters realize they barely have enough money for themselves. In panic, Spider sells the digital camera the worker had given her, but gets only $50. Desperate, she pawns her mother's necklace to make up the rest. That night, she goes to Ray's van, hands him the money, and begs him to leave them alone. But Ray cruelly mocks her. He calls her mother a worthless addict, always drunk, saying no sane woman would ever send her daughter to him alone. Hurt and enraged, Spider runs back to the shed. In a breakdown, she kicks the trunk that holds her mother's body, screaming, "I hate you because you even befriended someone vile like Ray." Her younger sister finds her there, terrified, and hugs her tightly. She asks, "Will Ray leave us alone now?" Spider whispers yes, but inside, she knows if Ray ever learns the truth, they will be torn apart. The next day, Spider researches adoption online. She learns that an older sibling can adopt a younger one, but only if they're 18. She's just 15. That night, her sister asks again about their mother's locket. Unable to hurt her, Spider lies and refuses to tell her it's gone. Then another problem arises. Their mother's phone receives a voice message from the sheriff, who is also her friend's father. He asks her to call back, clearly suspicious. Alarm bells go off in Spider's mind. The next day, she goes to the document officer with a dangerous request: fake IDs. She asks for a driver's license, a birth certificate, anything that will make her appear 18. The officer demands a high price, but Spider pleads, saying she desperately needs them. Returning home, she confides in her best friend. "I'll take my sister far away. With a fake ID, I'll pretend to be 18 and adopt her. But I won't tell her anything yet." Her friend is shocked, but encourages her to stay strong. The next day, Spider buys back the worker's camera and returns it, saying she can't waste time with him anymore. But the worker persuades her to go out once more. And slowly, Spider begins to enjoy his company. She even starts liking him, but their fragile peace shatters when a child services officer suddenly shows up at their house. The sisters panic, fleeing into the shed where their mother's body is hidden. The officer calls their mother's phone, leaving a warning voicemail. If she doesn't respond by evening, she'll call the sheriff. Terrified, Spider rushes back to the document officer's house to get her fake ID, but he isn't there. Nothing's ready. At home, her younger sister once again asks about their mother's locket. This time, Spider admits the truth. I sold it. Heartbroken, her sister cries. That locket was everything to Mom, and you sold it. Her sister breaks down, denying it, before running out of the house. Moments later, she collapses from a severe asthma attack. Panicked, Spider realizes she forgot to refill her inhaler. She dials 911, but fearing the ambulance will take too long, she drags her into the car and drives her to the hospital. The doctors admit her immediately, but refuse to give Spider details, insisting only an adult guardian can be told. Broken, Spider sits in despair until the sheriff arrives. He speaks with the doctors, who confirm her sister will be fine. Spider breaks down, blaming herself for forgetting the inhaler. The sheriff comforts her, reminding her it was their mother's responsibility, not hers. But when he asks where their mother is, Spider cannot answer. Through tears, she begs, "Please, don't separate us." Soon, her sister is discharged, and the sheriff takes them home. But when his wife hears their mother has been missing for weeks, she suggests the girls stay with them until a proper family is found. The sheriff refuses, explaining there are already over 70 children waiting for adoption in their town. If these sisters are added to that list, it will be impossible for them to stay together. The next morning, he drops them at school. Spider, desperate, is handed some money by her friend to help her escape. She collects her fake IDs from the officer and runs home. Her sister, surprised, quickly packs her things. "Where are we going?" she asks. Spider insists they must run away or be separated. But her sister refuses. She doesn't want to leave her friends, her school, or even the memory of their mother. In frustration, Spider slaps her. At that very moment, Ray barges into their house. He pins Spider against the wall and sneers. "Your mother's dead, isn't she? And you're keeping her $200. You've been hiding it. If you want me to keep quiet, you'll pay me $200 every month, for your mother's sake." But his intentions are clearly growing darker. Before anything worse can happen, the two sisters fight back together. Spider grabs a baseball bat and knocks him unconscious. Shaken, her sister breaks down and whispers, "I don't want to go anywhere." And for the first time, Spider truly understands her feelings. That night, the two sisters sit together in silence. Slowly, they begin singing an old song that their mother used to sing to them. The melody carries both sorrow and comfort. And in that moment, they finally make a decision to tell the police everything. Not long after, the truth is revealed. Their mother's body is taken away, and the sheriff sits quietly beside the sisters. With tears in her eyes, Spider asks him softly, "Was what I did wrong?" The sheriff looks at her with understanding and replies gently, "No. Whatever you did to protect your sister, to keep her close. That is not wrong." He assures them that he will never allow them to be separated. Soon after, their mother's funeral is held. With heavy hearts, the sisters place flowers on her coffin, their faces pale with grief. But they are not alone anymore. The sheriff's family stands beside them and in time officially adopts them, ensuring that the two sisters will remain together forever. A short while later, the shop worker comes to visit Spider. In that moment, she remembers her mother, the good and the bad, and takes out the locket she had managed to buy back. As she opens it, she sees childhood photos of herself and her younger sister inside. Her eyes fill with tears. All the anger she once carried melts away into regret and into love. With quiet determination, Spider places the locket around her neck. She vows to herself she will always protect her sister and never let her go. And with that promise, the story of this film comes to an end. Thank you for watching.